How was your island noodles there, Joey?
Dude, slapped.
He was telling me it was the truth, man.
Oh, you never had island noodles, Mike?
No, man.
Oh my gosh.
They don't have noodles on the island. We can't get them here because noodles come from Asia. I think that's how it's going.
Oh man,
dude, they have it tomorrow from 11 to 7. You should go.
Is it gonna be packed?
No, dude, it only took like 5 minutes to get my food.
How many people did you unsocial distancing with? How many people got within the bubble?
Oh, it was just me and Phil. So I didn't have too many people in my bubble.
Cool.
Especially they get in my bubble, I push them out, so it's all good, bro.
No, man, you gotta like shoo them out because you can't touch them.
Bro, I backhand people. What do you mean?
Wash your hands. You backhand and wash your hands.
And then you gotta sanitize. You gotta sanitize right away. You gotta get the sanitizer.
See, the pimp's been doing it right this whole time.
Yeah, dude. Either you put powder in your hand or you put hand sanitizer in your hair and slap it in the face.
That's the 2020 version.
Yeah, dude.
Mike, you got to work out with us someday, bro. Today was one that you would love.
What'd I do? Or what'd you guys do?
400-meter lunges.
No, I hate lunges. That's literally my least favorite.
That's why you do them.
Yeah, dude.
No, man.
Builds character.
My booty doesn't need to be that big.
Face your fears.
Dude, builds character, Mike.
That's fine. I do my own stuff. I'm
doing Mike, your bio still says banker by day. Is that true?
No, that is not true.
Oh.
I tried to switch it in Facebook. No.
I was like, where's this guy get all this time?
Nah, man. 2017 was the last year. September 2017.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying you might need a bio update.
Man, I'm never on Facebook. All right, I'll do it. My DJAXCESS one is crispy, but my personal that's just family and people.
Sometimes I don't even get as many views on my corrupt page anymore as I do personal.
It's weird how it flips. The algorithm hates DJs. I'm pretty sure
they do hate DJs.
Everyone hates DJs.
And then every DJ's trying to figure it out. Like they don't know what to make it, like a musician, or do you make it like a,
business?
Yeah, you just
right. And then
it doesn't help.
And then it flags.
What's up, Bryson?
Everything that we do gets flagged. So it's like you post a picture, it doesn't like that. If it has words on it, doesn't like that. So it's like, oh, cool. It basically just black holes you into the abyss of fucking Facebook. And they're like, you can't have anything.
Yeah, dude, that shit is annoying.
It's like just for $10, we'll show your post to 5 people. And you're
right.
Like,
except if it has words on it, which is basically every flyer. So you try to advertise it. It's like, there's too many words on your shit. And I'm like, it's literally, there's 2 letters on it, dude. It's my logo. And it's like a picture of me with 2 letters in the corner. And that's all, it's all words. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I guess I won't pay you money.
Right.
Dude, shout out to Run 614. I'm digging the T. That's an OG T right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the red is bleeding into the white. It's so old, but
dude, do you still keep up with Toby and Aaron?
Yeah.
They just did a show together, right?
Well, yeah, we were gonna do J Flip, but then the apocalypse came upon us, and so that got paused. So
dude, remember that J Flip show at Long Street back a long time ago?
There was multiple J Flip shows that went off.
Yeah.
That Long Street one with
Scully's. Yeah, that one was awesome.
That was sweet. She played like a whole breakbeat set, dude. It's sweet.
It was good. She's still one of my favorite DJs as far as DJs go. She's always just murdered.
Right behind Walker and Royce, right?
They're up there. And Justin Martin. Like, those some of my favorites. I don't know.
Claude, perhaps.
What up, Vlex?
He never disappoints live. There's always those DJs that you're just like, you know you're gonna go and you're gonna love that set.
We talked about Facebook a little bit, but have you guys seen Mixcloud is kind of jumping into the streaming world, and they're saying that they're going to have licenses. I think it's great. I think it's a little too late, and I think it's the same problem Mixcloud's always had, in that it's all creators and no consumers. Like, unless you are on Mixcloud uploading, no one is on there. It's not like SoundCloud where the average person is on there, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I feel like that was always the thing. Like, Mixcloud was just DJs looking at other DJs shit. Like, there was no user base. And if you're like, yo, my shit's on Mixcloud, people were like, what? All right, cool. Only
Yeah.
DJs knew what it was, and that's the only people that use it.
But it worked. I mean, you don't get stuff
Yeah.
taken down. It embeds to websites well. So I mean, I still use it as my go-to for my mixtapes. But I've moved over to SoundCloud and Spotify as like the stuff I'm using for metrics.
Yeah, for sure. I totally feel that. Yeah, I never had my Mixcloud mixes get taken down. They're always like functionally high end. So
Kenob, you're having some success on SoundCloud. I saw 14,000 listeners.
Yeah, dude. On a couple of my mixes, I think on the one that I released, one of the first few ones that I released, it was at almost 8,000, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Went
That's awesome.
viral. Yeah, he got that SoundCloud spotlight on it, I think.
Yep,
Really
and it went viral, and then it popped up to like, I think it was like my fourth one, maybe fifth one, and it got like the 8,000 plays. That's the most that I've gotten. I think my Holy Ship set or the E-Force one are my second highest on SoundCloud, which is pretty good. I mean, because it's all of it mostly is all organic, so it helps that I get that many plays just posting it on SoundCloud and not really doing much with it. So it's
You
helpful.
read my mind. That is exactly what I was going to ask you if you were doing anything to up your numbers.
I mean, like I'll do it on Facebook. Like I'll post it on my DJ page, and then I'll pay like the $10 or $20 to do like the marketing on Facebook. But that's about as far as it goes, other than posting it like on my Instagram story and stuff.
That's all you can do, man. I mean, you got to try to get it out there, invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, of course. I definitely get that. But it's just like a struggle with like the promoting part because like
What's
on
up,
Facebook,
Tammy?
because on Facebook they block a lot of stuff like BK was saying, which sucks because a lot of the promo flyers I would put up would get flagged for being like copyright or something, and I can't post it because they can't use the boost on it because I had certain words in it.
Instagram's doing the same thing now. So.
Oh, really?
yeah, and then they started doing the scanning of your like. If you post an event link, it will scan all the words in the event link, and if there's any kind of like inappropriate language or sexual references or anything, it kills your
Alex
whole...
Gordon asked if the mixes on SoundCloud, how do they do? He still gets flagged for stuff. So the way to get your mixes on SoundCloud and not taken down is make an intro, some sort of custom intro. It detects like the first 20 seconds, I believe, or something like that. It's been the same way for years, and that's how I get all of my Lost in the Sauce. That's how I got all my mixes on before that. You just got to make some sort of intro that doesn't detect copyright, whatever, and then it'll work. Hi, Mom.
Hey, what's up, Mama Corrupt?
That's what people say about Facebook too. If you go live with like a 5-minute countdown before you start, if it's not hearing audio when you first come online, it doesn't scan it for as soon or as often until it figures out what you're doing. So like if you can do that like 5-minute splash page, like, hey, I'm gonna play and have no sound in the background,
right?
Then it is less likely to get flagged as often or as fast. But I had some weird crap, dude. Like I was using that restream and I was streaming to my Facebook page and my personal page, and one got flagged and the other one didn't. It was the same exact audio stream.
That's weird.
It's weird. I was like flipping them back and forth. I was like, oh, BK's off. I flip it back on, and then they're like, your personal one went off like 10 minutes later, and they were like chopped in different places. Like one flagged and one didn't. It was really weird.
But what's weird is that they're doing that as far as like flagging and using copyright for even like the mainstream DJs trying to stream on any like social media platform, that they're taking it down in this time. Like one would think they would drop that at least for the time being, so people could actually stream their music.
Fucking Paul Van Dyke got popped on one of his own tracks. He dropped
of course.
he was doing a live stream and he dropped like, I forget which track it was, but it was one of his like, it was like big bangers, and he laid it out there and they bumped him off Facebook because copyright infringement on himself. And I was just like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that's happened to quite a few DJs on SoundCloud that are getting their stuff.
My dogs are running all around behind me now.
There they are. There's some new one. There's a new one. What's that one?
This is Zero. She's the puppy. She's
that's a puppy?
Yeah,
she's a horse, dude.
She's the 8-month-old. She's the 8-month-old puppy. Come here, baby.
8 months, dude. She's bigger than me.
Come here.
Mike, how many safari hats do you have, bro?
This is the only hat I have, period.
Oh, okay.
Really, dude? Should get like a legit one.
What's the temperature there?
Wow, man. What is wrong with you, Kenobi? You have to win to talk shit. You gotta win to talk shit. That's
Uh-oh.
always been the rule.
So
You're
what
gonna
is
have
it?
a little
Always been
Warzone
the-
debate right now?
No, I'm just saying,
No,
dude.
no.
I'm just saying you can up your bucket hat game.
Oh, he's a
Why?
Michigan.
Because yeah.
No,
that's
I'm not
why.
have nothing to do with that. I'm just saying, like in general, dude. If you're gonna rock on bucket hats on the podcast, you should have a
He's
new
in
one
Bro
each week.
Safari now. He's allowed to wear that little hat there. He's in the
Yeah.
He's in the group now.
Dude, exactly.
He's in the regiment.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this man is trying to tell me fashion advice.
It's fine. He's a little
Hey,
mad
dude,
that
I'm in a Hawaiian shirt, dude. I look more tropical than you do, and you're on the beach. So I don't even want to hear it.
Hey man, it sounds like you a hater because I'm on the beach and you're
I
not.
don't know, man. Look at that high tide coming up out behind him right there.
Yeah.
I can't tell who's on here still. I know my mom's still going strong. Mom's probably got a beer. Hi, Mom.
She probably does, dude. I hope so. I wish I could have a beer, but I can't. For 72
Oh wait,
minutes.
is Rusty on here?
Of course he is.
I hope Rusty is on here.
Oh wait, here we go. What's up, Russ? We can shout out to Rusty because he grilled some burgers and some turkey burgers for us. And Ashley, thank you for the food earlier.
Remember, she made some bomb mac and cheese.
Rusty, I was telling
cheese.
Mike he missed out on some lunches today. He said not for him.
Not for me, bro. I'll take my yoga and my run. But
all right, let's
hey,
do our intros.
Yeah, we're gonna do the intro because we've been talking for 12 minutes already. Probably longer than that. Welcome to episode 5 of the Columbus DJ podcast. I don't know why I changed my voice for this. I don't know. Episode 5, Columbus DJ podcast. What's up, everybody? We're here with BK and DJ Kenobi. Veteran in the game and up and comer. So we're gonna hear their stories and obviously have some duality between what they're gonna be talking about. And I'm always joined by my lovely co-host DJ Corrupt. What is up, my brother?
What's up, guys? Go Bucks!
Ohio State sucks, dude. Get out of here.
All right. Well, we'll start off with DJ Kenobi's intro since it's going to be short.
Just like Michigan's win record against Ohio State.
There we go.
Man.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
like that? Okay. I got it before you even have to say it.
So Joey, tell our viewers and a little bit about what type of music you play and kind of what
Who are you, man?
why DJ Kenobi? What?
So the kind of music I play is bass-driven tech house. Why I chose DJ Kenobi as the name, because I think Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars shows a lot of patience and aspects as far as understanding and allowing the time and place for everything to happen. It doesn't rush into anything, uses the Force obviously as a guidance tool, and seems to take everything one step at a time and just trust the process, which is kind of what I vibe with. So I decided to take that as my DJ namesake going forward. From Columbus, obviously, because I'm on the podcast. And I got into DJing actually by our host here, Mike. Came up to me it's like 3 years ago around this time. It was like at a house night nonetheless at Dahlia, and he was like, hey man, you want to learn how to DJ? I was like,
just like that too.
You did. I was like, I mean, yeah, sure, I guess. He's like, all right, bro, come over this week, bring your laptop, I'm gonna teach you how to DJ. I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, all right, this would be like a kind of like a cool hobby to do. Make like workout mixes for myself, just kind of do something to take my mind off the every day-to-day thing. And then slowly but surely I got better at it, and got an opportunity to play at Dahlia on a house night, and I was kind of hooked from there. And then 3 years have passed, and I've played a lot of shows at Dahlia. I would say probably my favorite DJ experience thus far, I would say, is playing the Holy Shit pre-parties a couple years ago.
Mhm.
So I think I got picked out of a contest, a mixed contest for that, and got the opportunity to play in front of for all the people that were getting on Holy Ship and stuff, and that was pretty exciting. Probably the best part thus far is, I was a year, maybe two, not even into DJing, and I got to play the pre-party, so that was pretty exciting for me.
Yeah,
Tell us
man, that
about
was a
your first night at Dahlia, man. Because I feel like a lot of
yeah.
DJs don't like. I mean, you've been doing it a long time. You don't really remember what your first night did. You have like that's awesome that you remember that. Like you get to remember that. Tell us about that. What do you remember? How did it go? How did you prepare? Take us through.
Uh, I prepared. I practiced the set that I was going to play that weekend probably at least 10 times because I didn't want to screw up in front of people. I would say that I was extremely nervous. I do remember like not looking up from the decks for a solid like 10 minutes into my set before I got comfortable enough to be able to look up and see, people out there grooving and dancing. It was fun because I've always wanted to do it, but I never just like put in forth the time or the effort to even try to do it. And being able to actually do it, I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. Um, Super nervous, and then after I was done, I was amped, and it pretty much got me hooked. And then after that, it's just kind of the story now. I mean, it's something that I didn't picture myself doing, but now that I'm actually doing it, wouldn't change a thing. I don't think I'd do everything exactly the way I did it before.
Been
And
awesome
then
to
you,
see your progress with everything. Obviously, you knew that you could do it, and you kept on it. It takes a lot of experience and practice, and I feel like just after your first couple shows there, you felt comfortable up there, and then obviously the technical stuff came as you went, but it was cool to see the progression because I would, there'd be a few bad transitions when you first started, and then now it seems like it's pretty smooth, man.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it definitely took a minute. I think learning CDJs and like the effects and different technicalities on it took me a minute to learn. Um, I mean, not having a pair of CDJs definitely made it a little bit more difficult. So I guess every time I would go into Dahlia, I'd start trying new and different things with the CDJs and the equipment. But yeah, I think the last few shows that I've had, I've been extremely comfortable and well prepared, and I think that's part of the reason why I think I've been so successful, is I've taken the time to practice and learn, and not just wing it. Has definitely helped out the most.
and then you're producing as well, right?
Yeah.
Have you released anything?
Do what? I can't hear
Have
you.
you, have you released anything officially, or
No, not yet. I'm hoping to release something by the end of the summer, maybe going into the fall. Is my goal as of right now.
cool, man?
So, um, I have a question. So, BK, before we get to your intro, um, did you enjoy those Kool-Aid parties as much as I did? Because that was one thing that I really enjoyed doing with
Yes.
you.
Yeah, those were super fun, man. Like we definitely, I don't know, there was like that was a heavy vibe, and like those parties were
It was
awesome.
perfect.
I think that first one I had to have somebody come and get me. I think my wife had to come and get me because I enjoyed it a little too much, and I
That's
couldn't drive
good.
myself home. So
We talk about those all the time, man, because it was only once a year, and
yeah, it was always like always a
yeah.
Park Street festival. So it's always been, now the dog is gonna cry at the door because I'm out and I'm talking. So she's
Oh
like,
man.
hey, are you trying to do something? I'm gonna cry at the door. But yeah,
But tell
those
us about
those
yourself, man.
those parties were good. But yeah, I've been doing this for, I don't know, a hot minute, I would say. House DJ, but kind of dabble in other weird crap breaks. Sometimes a little techno here and there, whatever. Um, used to do the electro house thing like pretty hard. Uh, Still wander around into the bass house thing every once in a while. I don't know. been kind of around doing stuff in the city for a hot minute. Like when I moved down here from running around like in Toledo in the Detroit area, I come down here and just started meeting people and showing up at nights and kind of just spread out from there.
Rusty says, "Make Kool-Aid parties great again." He was right there.
Well, we
with
got to
it.
find a new spot, but I definitely think like because now that spot is leveled. But
We had some good times, man. So how many years have you been DJing? Because that's what's impressive to me.
that's a good question. I think it's like 15 and some change now.
Okay.
That's awesome. So that's kind of
Forever. I was a late starter though. Like I got started late in the game. I wasn't young. I wish I was, and that's why I'm interested now to see my kids, who I've been very careful not to push DJing on them, but allow them to be around it as much as they want to. And so like the other night I was downstairs cleaning the basement and they came down and they were poking around, my gear was on and I had it on like I turned off auto cue and I turned it off to let just let some stuff play. And while I was down there cleaning, the boys were like, "Hey, can we DJ for you while you clean?" And I was like, "Sure." And so it turned into like a quick lesson and they were messing around and they've been since then like, "Hey, can we play with your DJ equipment again?" And I'm like, "Yep." And I'm getting them down there. So I'm being real careful not to like push them towards it, but kind of let them wander in whenever they feel like it. So
I like it.
I'm hoping if I can get them started at this age, then they can do something awesome like rock their school dances and do that kind of stuff and hey, you guys can be the DJs and go like
Yeah,
you can
man.
learn and do all that stuff. So we'll see. But
Man,
I wish
you're like be a better dad than I could ever be, man. I would be like, those basketball dads like that are like
Oh
on the sideline
no.
yelling at their kids. I would be like that, but for
Oh
DJing.
no.
I feel like that was like I knew that like the temptation to do that, Mike, is like is hardcore there. Like I want to sit down and learn how to beat.
That was not a good transition.
Right, like you suck, get off here. Like, but like, or I'd be like, you have 2 hours of DJ time this week, or you're gonna, you're grounded. And so, like, I feel like that would be a great way to get them not to want to do it. So, like, ultimately, they'd be like,
What's up,
DJing
Ashley?
sucks and Dad's a jerk, and I'll be like, all right, cool, that's probably true on both counts, but whatever. I'm like letting them kind of do their thing, but like I taught them how to use the sync. I was like, here's how we're gonna learn how to mix first, and then we're gonna learn how to beat match. And then I was kind of showing them how to beat match a little bit, like knocking stuff off and being like, fix this. And it was interesting to see. So they had remedial beat matching, and they learned how to like kind of sync, and they were mixing things back and forth and learning how to use the EQs to get from one to the other and asking questions about what does what. And so it's kind of crazy. But like when I have my DJS 1000 up, my one son always comes down and plays with it because he can program the step sequencer like a little wizard. He's over there writing his own songs and stuff.
Oh wow.
So
That's
impressive.
awesome, man. What's up, Cody?
Would you
We
say?
were just talking about Gorilla.
Would you say, BK, that your kids are able to pick up like the mixing and being able to do those kinds of things pretty quickly, or do you think it's taken?
Yeah, no, they have what I would say is that innate sense of rhythm and pitch and key. Like when they were little, they would emulate sounds at like a perfect pitch and right in key, and like they were able to clap on beat at like 2. You know what I mean? Like like without being taught they're supposed to, they would just do it on their own. You know what I mean? Like you could watch them dance with rhythm or clap with rhythm at a small age, and I was like, well, they've got the rudimentary core pieces, so what if they just choose to do something with it? It's interesting.
That's pretty impressive.
But I'm
That's
trying
awesome,
to
man.
teach them some stuff, but not too much stuff, because he's like, how do I make drums to make a song? And I was like, well, I'm like, here's the rules ish for drums, like in house music, but really like there aren't any rules in music. So if you do a thing that doesn't follow any of the rules that I just told you and you think it sounds cool, then that's cool and you can start something new. And like you might make a new genre of music that nobody's made before, or do something. As long as you think it's cool and somebody else thinks it's cool, then it's good and you're good to go. So don't follow the rules like they're dead rules, but here's like a template of how things work ish, but don't be afraid to just get outside that and do whatever you want.
Yep, you're
Like
a
the
good
Pirates
dad.
Code.
So
I knew you'd laugh at that.
Hey man, well we were just talking about BK on our last episode with somebody talking about how good we like his set flow. His set flow is like one of the best we've heard in Columbus. Just the way you tell a story with your sets and program that, it's pretty good.
I feel like sometimes I get all over the place, but it works. I usually have an idea. I feel like as far as sets go, that's how I kind of my programming for the sense of the word is like I might have an idea of what song I might want to start with or I might want to end with, and then maybe one somewhere in the middle, and then I'll just kind of put it together somewhere in there. So like I might come into a set with like I'm gonna play these 3 songs over this hour, and they're gonna be at the ends and in the middle, and then I'll just kind of fill in everything else. It's kind of like build it as you go type deal, and that works.
Oh, Joey, you got some girl giving you hard eyes right now.
No, dude, what can I say, man?
It's that Hawaiian shirt,
bro. Dude, it's the hair. You know what I'm saying?
You should like one button more.
It's definitely not the Michigan flag, though.
Bro, it is, dude.
That is literally going to stop everyone.
Show the nip.
Oh wow!
Now I can't get paid on YouTube because of this, because it's inappropriate content. Thanks.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Of course not.
Oh, we're making money.
Dude, we're making money, dude. Dude, what do I get? Like $1? I get like $1 out of this, right?
Hey Ashley, you got any more of them brownies?
Yeah. They,
oh
anyway.
man. But yeah, so
you mentioned something, BK, in your intro, showing up at parties, which I feel like you jumped over that, and you should really talk about it, because I don't know anyone who's been going out more consistently Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. You know, if there's a house event, like, you know, more often, I feel like more often than not, I know BK is going to be there. Like, what drives you to like come out all the time? Like, is it just being a student of the game, or supporting the scene, or a little bit of both?
So I would say it's some of all the above, and like just being around like-minded people and enjoying the whatever, kind of keeping an eye on what's going on in the city, and like keeping, you know, tabs on who's doing what and what's where, and you know, like when the people bringing world-class people around, it's like kind of cool to be out and be able to, you know, see DJs that I've always wanted to see in the city where I live, and you know, support friends and do stuff like that. So I try to get out, but it's a tough balance. So you know, you try to stay in too, but like if everyone at my house is going to go to sleep at 9 o'clock, then I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to sneak out of here. So I'll be at the club watching people DJ. So, you know, it is what it is, but it's fun. I think it's just, I don't know, it's a thing that I really like to do. So I was always out in the places and trying to support the people that I thought I could or wanted to or would, or, you know, here or there.
Yeah, man.
James, how important do you think it is for DJs to get out and hear other DJs in their city and support the scene?
Dude, I think it's huge. I think it's just as important as learning the craft itself, because as an up and comer, or just somebody that's trying to, you know, fill their schedule and make their brand, you know, better reputation for their brand, I think it's important to, especially somebody, you know, house DJs support each other, because you know, we're all coming up together. Because if, like, I think it was Alex Fear said it, or somebody said it last episode or so, that you know, if a couple of us make it, then we all make it, if you really think about it.
True.
Because you know, we're all supporting each other, we all want to see each other succeed, we're all friends, and that there's a lot of truth to that. So it's important to show that you genuinely support each other, and but you also just want to be familiar with what's going on in your scene, because you know, if you're just gonna sit at home wait for gigs, it's just not gonna happen, you know.
And those dudes are probably like the best at that too. I feel like those dudes are like super behind everybody everywhere and always have good things to say about everybody. They're like the most.
Oh yeah, Alex.
They are the most, like, I don't know how to say it. They're like the most neutral. They're just good. Like, they're solid good. Like, they don't. I've never heard them ever say anything bad about anybody ever, even when they could or should. They don't. So that's like they're absolutely the best at that side of the game.
True.
I agree.
I would agree with that too.
Hey
100%.
Joey, talking about going out, has going out changed since you've become a DJ? Do you enjoy it more? Do you focus in on the DJ more, less? What tell us about that?
Yeah, I would say like, going to shows and stuff, I do as of now start to tend to listen more for like the transitions and their track selection that they put through. Just to try to like pick up on keys and things that I could probably implement for myself. Like I would say, I was on Holy Ship a couple years ago, and I got lucky enough to watch Latman. He's a European tech house DJ, very very good. And one of the stages that I was on, I was able to see like the CDJs and the equipment that he was using. And I can vividly remember just like me just sitting right in front of like the booth and just watching what he was doing every time he would mix a track or do those kinds of things. And I would just focus on it the whole time. Probably looked like a weirdo just staring at the CDJs, but whatever, dude. And I learned a lot, just like the effects that he was using, because I could hear him come in and out. And then, the next time that I got to play, I went on and try to mimic kind of the same effects that he was doing to see if I can implement it. I would say that, and I mean, going out for me is hit and miss, because honestly, sometimes I really don't want to leave my house, and then there's days that I do as far as going out. But I would say at least when I go, I pay attention to like what they do, how they react with the crowd, and their song selection and things like that. That way I can pick up on it, implement it myself, and learn more. So that's what I usually do when I go to shows, just to pick up on information and things that will help progress my career as well.
Cool, man.
Yeah, dude, I like it. It's all right, I guess, I suppose.
Brian, I want to come back to you. You mentioned Toledo earlier and being from there. I know that before DJing, or maybe while you were DJing, you were racing cars, man. We've talked about that. I don't know how much of that we can talk about, but
We can talk about whatever you want. That's all
yeah,
in the
man,
past. I think the any kind of things that happened that weren't necessarily within the letter of the law is well past the statute of limitations at this
perfect.
point. But
Are we
Yeah,
talking
man, just
Too
like,
Fast,
is
Too
it
Furious?
exactly
it
like
was
that?
before all that stuff was even the thing. I remember when the first Fast and the Furious movie came out, and it was bad because I had a black 1994 Civic.
Oh, no.
And that was like that 92 to 95 Civic was the one from the movie, with the green lights underneath it. They robbed
Yeah,
all the trucks in the original movie, but I had a turbocharged, motor swapped, black 92 to 95 Civic. And everyone's like, "Oh man, Fast and the Furious," and I was like, "Man, I had this shit before." Like before that movie even came out. But I like that night when we left the movie theater, boy, everybody was driving like assholes, and I had that car, and they were all like, roll up and challenge it. And of course, it's making the thing had an open downpipe on it and a big old turbo, and so it's like it's blowing off and wastegate's opening and it's burning off the tires. And I'm just like, yeah, this car's dumb. But we used to go out and street race between the rail yard and the dump in Toledo all the time. So like every Friday and Saturday night, we were out on that road street racing for money or just for fun, whatever,
Taking
stuff like
down
that.
Mustangs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
And then that's how I met my wife. Is like through street racing, and she had a Civic at one point in time, and then she had like a Turbo Beetle, and she's had some cool cars. She had a GTI and some other stuff. That all the time that we were flashing them and turning them out. So like she was like the gatekeeper for us at one point in time. Like was somebody show up and we didn't know who they were, and they're like, oh, "I'm trying to race somebody." Be like, "Okay, well, so let's see if you can beat my girlfriend in her little Beetle." She had one of those 1.8T Beetles with like we were running I think 27 28 pounds of boost on it, so that thing would rip, and then she'd be out crushing Mustangs in that thing, and they people lose to her and not come back. Like they'd make a pass down the street and she'd beat them in the Beetle, and then they would just not come back to the spot. They would just drive away down to the end of the road and go home for the night. But it was kind of fun. But yeah, I've owned God, I can't tell you how many DSMs and some Hondas and turbo Hondas, and then I had that Cadillac CTSV for a little while, and that thing's fun. And I got a Turbo Accord again, so it's just.
You ever talk cars with Sam Henley and Riley when they would be out all the time?
No, No, Aaron K is the one who I always talk cars with. 'Cause he's
Okay.
always
Yes.
listy
Shout out
cars.
Aaron K.
Yeah, he's always like, hey, I got this thing and I got this thing, and like we're switching cars, and it was like at one point in time he had that supercharged Jaguar and I had that CTSV, and we're like, we need to go take these things out and drag race when we're not at the club one night.
Yeah,
But
perfectly before the club.
yeah, yeah, before or not at any time after the club, but
Right.
yeah, those
Joey.
cars were fun, and I miss like that was like yeah, we used to go out to street race. We'd go up to the Flint, we'd go up to Detroit, we'd street race and do that stuff, or run from the cops, and yeah, it was a party. I think one time I made it from Toledo to the casino in Windsor in 18 and a half minutes. So
Dang.
man,
So what's
what?
the GPS route on that?
That would have been like probably 160 mile an hour average on 75.
Holy crap.
What the heck?
I know
Dang, dude.
I definitely made it from Columbus to Toledo one night in like an hour and some change, like $140 plus the whole way. I remember somewhere around Marion or someplace, I passed an ambulance with its lights on at like $155. Like in the middle of the night, it's like it was like 11:30 at night. It's pitch black, and I'm going like 155 down 23 north, and I'm just getting it. And I see the lights, and I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And the next thing you know, I'm passing this ambulance, just like
Joey told me
Gone.
he wants to race you with his car. He's got a little grocery getter
here you go.
SUV.
It's
Yeah,
probably
dude.
it's probably something fast and sweet. He's probably got like a who knows what.
I don't know about all that.
Dude, I got a Subaru Outback
There you go.
hatchback, dude. It's killer.
Carries
I-
a lot of groceries.
Those things are dope though.
I had a I know they are. I had a '02 Subaru WRX 5-speed a couple years ago. I'd probably still have it if the piston wouldn't have blown out in it.
Yeah, they were notorious for that kind of crap. I had a '09 STI for a little while before I bought the Cadillac, and I loved that thing. It was fun. I had it all tuned up and running on corn gas and all that. So
Dang.
it's a
Dude,
fun
it
little
grips
whip.
and rips, dude. Like I miss that car. I miss having the 5-speed and be able to feel the car like shift and drive.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I love my Outback. It's like comfortable, got a lot of space, good sound system, but sometimes I really do just miss like the manual shifting and feeling like the car.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. It's
And a
on
lot
to
of people who know where I came from too as DJing with Matt for a long time as part of
Mhm.
Network EDM and Project Car. That's how Matt and I met, is through cars. Like one night I was rolling through a parking lot and he had the hood up on his Eclipse Turbo and he had blown an intercooler pipe, and I drove by and I was like, hey dude, are you good? Like if you need a hand fixing that, I'm like super familiar with those cars. And he's like, no, I'm good. And then at some point in time, I saw him later at one of the street races or somewhere out. He knew people that I knew, and that's how we became friends. And then we talked about music and dance music. And the next thing you know, we were going to all these shows and hanging out. And then the next thing you know, we were DJing.
That's awesome.
Shout out Matt, man. I was late seeing you guys out.
It's always that the chemistry is weird with that group because it's still like, even when I think the last time we played out, we hadn't played together in shit like months, and we like just got together with keys of stuff on it, and it was still like right there, dude. It was like, how we don't even talk about music for like almost a year, and then here it is. It's still vibes. Like I don't know how it works. I'm gonna let this dog out real quick, and I'll be right back. It's gonna take me like 30 seconds.
Joey, I got a
Perfectly.
question for you.
what's up, man?
I want to know what your favorite festival is, and then I want to know what your favorite memories of your top 3 festivals, because I've been to quite a few shows with you.
Man, that's a tough one. I'd probably say Holy Ship is probably, as of all the festivals that I've been to, is probably by far my favorite. I would say mainly because of like the intimacy of the festival in itself. You're on a cruise ship with like 1,500, maybe 2,000 other people, depending on if they sold out the boat or not. And then you're on there with all the other artists as well that are playing. So you get to like interact, do group activities and stuff with the artist. And I think that
That's cool.
makes it that much better. I will say my honest to God, my favorite festival experience was my first time on Holy Ship in 2017.
Is that when you went with Cody?
No, I went with my ex-girlfriend Laura.
Okay.
And I was sitting at a slot machine just talking to these people. And Claude Von Stroke just comes up and just gives me like this giant hug and just goes, "Hey man, I hope you're having the best time of your life." I didn't even know who he was. I looked down and saw like his tag saying that he was Claude Von Stroke, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Cody said, "Ship fam."
Dude, I was so excited that I just got hugged by Claude Von Stroke out of nowhere. That dude just made the whole experience.
So they were just walking around interacting with everyone. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
dude. Like the last year I went on, I sat and talked to Gasly, and then I ran into Latman, like in the food line getting food, and sat and talked with him for a little while. Oddly enough, we got the same name, so that was kind of cool. And then just like any of the other artists, met Jaws too, Slushy, and then I think a few other artists and stuff. Like they have an elevator on the boat, and people will get in there and just like have like a speaker, and they'll just ride the elevator up and down and play music and meet people. That was pretty cool. Got in an elevator with Slushy, and then this other guy was doing pull-ups on the bar inside of the elevator as we were going up and down.
Was it Cody?
Sounds like a crazy time.
No, that was my first time.
I know, I'm just teasing.
It was
How about
pretty
you,
wild.
BK? What's your favorite show that you've ever been to? Favorite show memory? Any festivals?
I would
Besides
say
Can's Tuesday.
it's probably Movement at some
Yeah?
point,
I knew you were
or
going to say that.
I love Movement.
either that or it would have probably been one of the times that I saw BT out in Chicago, because like that dude is a wizard, and like watching that dude do what he does, I would say, or watching James Zabila, when you could cross the border into Canada real easily. It was after one of the movements when we went over. He played in the basement in the like techno dungeon there, and then later in the night he played at one of the clubs in Windsor, and Matt and I went over there to see him across the bridge, and that dude, something else. That as far as DJs go, there's like very few DJs I think that can touch that dude as far as technical ability and just like the stuff that he does with like looping and uh, editing and stuff like that. Like
Facts.
effects. I'll probably never forget watching that dude blow my mind. And then at the end of the night, he grabs a microphone, and it was when he was doing all that shit with all those cork pads and like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he just grabs a mic and he was like, "Thank you." And then he hit it on the DJ booth, and he shut it off, and he caught it in a loop, and he turned that into like a 7-minute techno song that was just
Oh my gosh,
banger. And like
I love when DJs do that.
Sampling his own voice and then breaking it down and like re-looping and resampling it until it was built out into this like really elaborate, ridiculous thing. Like my gear choices and things that I've bought over time have largely been influenced by that man and his like ridiculous skill. Like we had one of those, whatever the old Pioneer 1000 effects box thing was, that we had one of those because like James Zabila like did so much cool shit with it. I was like, I have to have one of those, and I have the EFX 1000 for the same reason. Like watching that dude like roll out the CDJs with the EFX whole package, like the set that he played, I was like, I have to have that thing.
dude. Some of those, yeah. I've opened for BT a few times. I can definitely agree with that firsthand. He's very talented, and he used to just sell out wherever we put him, whether it was Sway. We put him at Dahlia one time. So people know, man. People know how good he is.
I remember coming down to Columbus from Toledo at one point in time to see him at Sugar Bar, like a gajillion years ago. I don't remember when that was, but
Sugar Bar, the original Sugar Bar.
Yeah, and
Damn.
we saw him at God, whatever. What's the bar that's like the long ass bar at the top of Gateway?
Charlie Bear.
Yeah, when that was something else, and they did techno stuff and like electronic shit in there, like a bajillion years ago. We saw him up in there once too. Like I I forget, somebody brought him down for free, and it was like a sponsored thing, like a Red Bull sponsored show, and it was like free BT at that bar under a different name. I can't remember what it used to be called, but I remember the long ass bar, and it was nuts.
Guys, it is time for show and tell. I hope you brought something good. James, what's our viewers? What's our viewer count on Facebook?
We got 14, which is pretty good. It's been consistent the whole time. Probably
Pretty good,
because.
man.
Gross.
Not 25 though. Not 25.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were gonna do a show and tell if it got to 25.
Yep. So you know, if it gets to 25 before the segment's over, I'm prepared to show you what I got.
I'm kind of nervous what you'll put on here.
I'm gonna go
No,
grab
it's
my
cool,
show
man.
and
I mean,
tell.
I'm really waiting for my shorter
All right,
blade.
so
That's a
BK is gonna go grab his. Joe, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. My show and tell is something that I really care about. It's for Ocean. It's a bracelet that you can buy on the internet. Each bracelet contributes to taking 1 pound of trash out of the ocean. They have different colors for different animals, as far as like dolphins, sea turtles, octopuses, polar bears, and sharks, I believe, too. The one I have in my hand is the Earth Day one. So I was stumbled across that, one time on the internet, and I think it's a tragedy, kind of what's happening to our oceans. So, I mean, whatever I can do to help out is what I'll do.
Thank you, because you gave me one as well for the penguins. I think this is the penguin color, right?
Yeah, the black and yellow one.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I agree with you on that. I think there's a lot more we could be doing that. So that's awesome.
I think so too. I mean, I know just from some of the stuff that I've seen, they have there's a lot of like kids and people in college making devices and things to clean up the ocean, which is good. I just think we probably should have started on this a long time ago, but it is what it is.
And so
Sounds
really
good,
exciting.
man.
I'm just happy that you are agreeing to match any donation given in the name of the Columbus DJ Podcast 24 Oceans. We really appreciate you doing that, Kenobi. We got a
Yep.
link down in the description if you're watching on YouTube. It goes straight to Kenobi's Venmo. You just let him know how much you donated, and he'll send you double that. So
Sweet.
really appreciate you doing
Nice.
that.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. No problem. I'm just loaded with
Okay.
cash over here.
What you got?
So BK, what's up?
This is my show and tell, and she's gonna be kind of a butthole, I think. But this is Zero. She's 8 months, Great Dane. We're training her to be a therapy dog. She's about to like chew up some shoes and then run off with like a Chromebook right now. She's also sniffing this beer. She thinks she might want some of that, but she's almost 100 pounds already. But we're gonna train her to be a therapy dog because my wife is a psych nurse, so she's gonna go work with psych patients and do that cool stuff and be, somebody's
Super dog.
Yeah, she's gonna like live with us, but go to work with Adele and see if she can get people out of their shell and just kind of be a companion to the psych patients and especially like children. Like my wife likes to, she's has an affinity for psychiatric work with children, and so my chocolate lab has been a therapy dog, and my yellow lab is a therapy dog. And so they got to work with her, and like she's got lots of stories about how the dogs helped people come out of their shells and do cool stuff. And so that's a thing that we wanted to do with her. So that's why we got her. She's a rescue puppy that nobody wanted, and so she come to be with us, and then now we're going to train her to be a psychotherapy dog. So that's my show and tell.
That's incredible,
awesome.
man. Like, so how does that work? So she trains the dog to just be supportive, like.
Basically, the dog, it learns to be a canine good citizen, and so it gets certified by. There's a couple different boards that can certify them. So you get canine good citizenship certification through the AKC, and then you can use that to apply to do that. And so once they have the appropriate behavior, then they're allowed to be in the hospital or in the building, or they can be with her. They can be present with her and do that stuff. So then most of the time, the dogs will just do it on their own because the dogs are intuitive and they're naturally caring and whatever else. So like you put a dog around the people and like, just stories that she has of like where the people would come into the hospital, they wouldn't talk to anybody, they didn't want to do anything, and then like she said the one lady one time like spent an hour with my chocolate lab, and she just laid on the floor and held the dog, and then she was crying for a little while, and then she got up and like went into one of the sessions and just like put her whole story on the table. But like for weeks they had tried to get her to talk, and she had no interest in telling anybody anything. But after she had time to spend with the dog, then she was like, I had a dog like this a long time ago, and it reminds me of this. And then like her whole story came out, and then she was able to work through it. So it's just they're well-behaved dogs that you allow to be a companion to people who just need like a little bit of heads up. But they can visit kids in the hospital, and they can go to like nursing homes and visit people. So once they're allowed to go places and do cool stuff, then they're like the good therapy dogs just kind of do it on their own. They're going to have a wrestling match in the background, it looks like.
Awesome.
2 Great Danes.
James, when's Felix getting a job?
Yeah, dude, for real.
So right now I'm teaching him how to sleep. So he'll sleep with you. If you just sleep next to him, he won't move. So right now we're working on that. Dude, he literally sleeps next to me every night, and he won't even get up until I get up, which is crazy.
Oh, where is he? You gotta
He's right here. Look, he's sleeping.
Dude,
right
let me see my boy. Let me see my boy.
Oh,
Felix, my boy.
Felix, get a job.
Dude, for real.
Seriously,
Mooch.
Why are you trying to be unemployed, bro? Get your
Dude,
own.
I hear being a mooch, Felix. Look at you. Dude, he looks so mad.
He's so mad at me right now.
He's annoyed. He's like, dude, why did you pick me up?
He's like, yo, I was sleeping. He's like, this is not cool at all.
I just picture Felix already being asleep and James going, go to sleep, Felix.
Good boy.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh man, show and tell gets us every time.
So I kind of want to ask them real quick how they're doing with the quarantine. Like, what do you think? Or no, here we go. This one's for Joey. So being what's the hardest thing about being a new DJ? Trying to be an up and comer when this all happens. Like, where's your thoughts at?
I mean, it's been difficult as far as not being able to get out and interact with people to build my brand and gain more followers. But honestly, I think once this is all over and I'm able and I release some tracks, I'll just kind of let my music speak for itself. I'm using this quarantine time as a time to master my skills as far as my mixing abilities, and also to get my production abilities down as well. So I think, yeah, it sucks that I lost the ability to get out and meet people, but at the same time, I took it as a blessing because it allows me to concentrate any extra free time that I have that I'm not working out or playing Warzone towards music, and I think that's been the most beneficial part about it. So I don't really think it's too negative. I think it's more of a positive situation than anything.
Who's better, you or Rusty on Warzone?
Bro, you already know. You already know the answer to the question before you even asked.
I know the answer.
Obviously, it's your boy right here.
Okay, okay, Rusty. I don't know if you're still listening, but
all I know is if I got
PvP little session here.
Hey, bro, just because I got a terrible KD doesn't mean anything, dude.
I agree with that. I
have good skill.
I just don't agree with that.
Because your KD sucks.
Bro, I got more wins.
Bro, it doesn't matter. You have triple the amount of games than I do, and you have just now got more wins.
Not going Warzone.
Anyway. Whew, it's getting hot here.
Yeah, dang.
That might be the whole shirt off, dude.
Hey, shout out to 614 real quick, one of our sponsors for the podcast. Thank you guys.
Yeah, actually, do we have any releases? I put the notification out on Twitter. I do know that we have Home Alone, which we're gonna have one of the organizers on the podcast next week. It's just a matter of which one and getting all that figured out. But Home Alone's gonna be a festival benefiting the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, and it's going to be 12 hours of DJs from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Friday, May 8th. So that's a week from yesterday. and it should be a great time. It's a fantastic lineup, so a bunch of DJs playing what they want to play. Nice stream for a good cause. Check it out, and again, we'll have them on the podcast next week. And I'm realizing that they would have to be on the podcast this week.
Well,
we'll have to figure that out.
We'll just do a recap because I think we should we'll promote the Home Alone thing all week. I think it's really it's for a good cause. Like you said, the lineup is stacked. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Where can they? Where's the stream going to be at? Is that going to be on Twitch?
Yep, that's going to be on Twitch. I'll leave everything in the description. And we'll be, if you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, there's now Columbus DJ Podcasts on accounts on all those platforms. So we will be announcing that probably right following the release of this episode.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man.
But yeah, shout out to 614. They're doing embroidery now. I feel like every week they got something different going on. So shout out to them.
Is that like a new local clothing line that just kind of popped up, or have they been around for a while?
Yeah, man, they've been bubbling. They're doing a really nice job of just getting people to take pictures in their stuff. And it's real high quality, and people seem to like it, and they're doing a nice job.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, dude. I'll have to check them out.
For sure. All right, let's close this out.
Close this out, but James, I have so many questions.
Dude, keep asking questions, dude.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Dude, just because your addiction is itching doesn't mean you have to go play.
I got a live stream after this.
Oh, shoot, what time?
I mean, not till like 8:30, but
no, bro, you got plenty of time.
9:30.
Yeah, dude, you got 2 hours, dude. We got plenty.
But I'm not.
You
won't be on.
didn't announce that you were streaming till just now.
I was just looking at the time. I didn't know. Let's go.
Guys, tips for listeners. One secret to DJing or business that our audience hasn't heard before. And Kenobi, we're starting with you.
Oh, shit, I was gonna say start with BK. I mean, honestly, just something that worked best for me is probably just repetition and practice. And I know that's this old saying, but I mean, honestly, you put in 10,000 hours into something and you'll master whatever it is that you put that time forth to. And I think that's honestly the best advice and secret that anyone could do is just put in the time if you really, really want to achieve what you want and the goals that you have set for yourself. I would say just practice and repetition of whatever it is that you want to do.
Is there a type of practice? Because I want to push it a little bit further than that because I think people have heard that they need to practice. So is there a type of practice? Do they need to practice their sets? Do they practice their music? Do they need to practice being live? What kind of practice worked best for you coming up?
I would say the practice that worked best for me was just honestly opening my laptop, connecting my controller, and just going through any and all of my tracks and just mixing whatever it was that came up next together, regardless if it was the same genre or not. I think that really helped me out a little bit too, because then now I know what to mix each genre. I know what to listen for, and also just gives you a little bit of variety as well, in case you get dropped into play a random set somewhere, and you're able to play to what the crowd's vibing to from the guy that was playing before you. And I think that will, definitely help out the most.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
BK, you've seen pretty much every DJ in the city. What advice do you have what do you think is the secret? What do you think is the secret to DJing or business?
I think the thing that so many people lack is the key, I think, to getting better or being really efficient is find somebody who gives you legitimate, honest feedback. Because I feel like there's that point at which you start and you're like, yo, check out what I'm doing. And your friends will be like, yo, that's dope. And it's not. And they're like, yo, your mix is fire. And it's not. And like having that person who's legitimately honest with you when you first come up, like, hey, this is all right, but here's some shit that you did was bad. Or here's something that you should do that's better. And I feel like that was probably one of the most crucial things that I ever learned. And don't have dogs have a fight while you're trying to talk. But that like having somebody who would give me honest feedback. I'd be like, send my buddy this mix, and I'd be like, yo, check this out. And he's like, yo, this sucks. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll try again. And he, like, you know, send him another one. He's like, this one sucks a little bit less than the last one. I'm like, all right, cool. And then when I finally got to the point where those dudes were like, hey, you're not terrible anymore. Let's get you in a club somewhere, or let's get you in an after party, or, you know, we're going to do an after hours at a spot. Like, you want to swing through and play for a little bit at a house party. And like, I feel like that was the key for me. Like, get honest and legitimate feedback and take it back. If everyone around you is always like, hey, you're dope and you're new, you're probably not getting the feedback that you need to like really grow as a DJ or an artist, because you're not always going to be dope. Like, I mess up all the time. And like, when somebody's like, yo, your set was dope except for these things that you did that were stupid, I appreciate that feedback a lot more than like, your whole set was fire and you never screw up, or you're always dope like 100% of the time. And like, no one is, but like that feedback helps you grow as a DJ more than anything else, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's why I had him on the podcast, because I know he was going to say exactly that, which is exactly what I said last week. So that's
it is.
Podcast done. Podcast is over. Wrap it up.
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I agree with that 100%. Because
I'm totally not surprised you said that either, Mike, because I think you and I have had that very conversation like more than a couple times. Just yeah. And I know that if I go up to Mike and I say, "What do you think about this?" He's going to give me his unfettered opinion with no bullshit behind it. Like,
I love it.
I like this. I don't like this. And like, he's always a person I know is going to come straight to the cut, and he's not hiding any bullshit behind what he tells you. And he won't pull any punches either.
You know, I get going too much though. You gotta cut me down a little bit.
No, I do the same thing. That's like a thing that I'm trying to work on right now. It's like not getting to that place where I hate everything, and I'm like, oh, fuck everybody and all the stuff, because I can get into that spot real easy sometimes too. So
But I agree with you, BK, on Mike being straight to the point. I know when he was first teaching me on how to mix properly, he was giving me unedited feedback about my mixes that I would send him, and I would just get like, at first I'm like, damn, he's right, and then after that, like, first initial, like, damn, he was kind of being an asshole. And then after that, you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, he was doing it as like really good constructive criticism.
It's hard. It's hard to get legitimate feedback. I remember at one point in time, I had this up and coming DJ ask me, he was like, yo, will you check out my mix and let me know what you think? And I was like, okay. And so I listened to his whole mix from front to back with a Word file open. And I just started typing shit down like 1 minute and 15 seconds. Like, your shit is not in key.
He's like, oh, shit.
Like 3 minutes and 55 seconds, you train wrecked real bad. Like, these songs don't go together. Like, your vibe is weird. Like, this mix is phrased bad. Like, and I sent him back. I was like, here's my feedback on your mix. And he's like, yo, you're a dick. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And like, that dude never talked to me again. But I was like, I'm sorry that you asked me for feedback, and I gave you something that I thought would help you be a better DJ. So now if somebody's like, yo, tell me about your shit, I'm like, well, do you want me to just tell you it's good, or do you want me to actually tell you what I think? Because I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to tell you, if you don't tell me not to, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think, whether it's good or bad, like, and I won't pull anything from that.
Yeah.
But
I think some people are afraid of getting like the constructive criticism, because they just want to hear like that pump up, like, yeah, man, that mix was dope. They don't want to hear that negative stuff, because then
well, constructive criticism isn't negative. People that just say you suck are not helping either. You know,
right? Yeah. If you're like, hey, that's trash, that's not good. But also, like, that whole thing's good, it's not good either. Like,
right? Exactly.
You know, I liked all of what you did except for these things, or that mix was pretty dope, except your phrasing is bad, or you could work on something else, or you could work on the general flow of your mix, or that was all over the place, or I couldn't tell what I was supposed to do, like chill or dance, or you know what I mean? Like, that kind of feedback is different. It's worth it.
Yeah. I like it, man. Hopefully more people will be able to take that kind of feedback, because I think that'll help them out in the long run, as they, you know, if they do end up getting bigger, they're not just going to listen to every single positive thing that someone says. They're going to hopefully pick it out and find out that, you know, there are some bad things that they did do in their set, regardless if they're at the top of the game or just as an up and comer too.
I think the key is when you can start finding that stuff yourself. That's when you can really get
Yes.
better. Because like,
100%.
100%.
I know a lot of times I'll come off stage and I have a list of everything that I fucked up. Like I'll be like, oh, I fucked up these 3 mixes, and like other people will be like, I didn't hear anything, and I'm like, nah, this definitively here's this thing that. But I feel like you can hear it all more in the headphones too, because a lot of times I'll record something that I'm playing, or I'll record a mix or whatever, and I'm like, man, this is bad. I can't release it, and I'll go back and listen to it, and then I'm like, well, that's not so bad. But when you're listening to it in the monitors with everything set up just the right way, it's so precise that you're like, there's just like a little bit of a fuck up. I don't want to release that. And then when you go back and listen to the recording of it, it's fine, or it's like not that noticeable. But I've almost scrapped whole mixes that I ended up loving because when I got done playing it, I was like, that wasn't perfect, or that was my quest for perfection would overcome that.
So
Go ahead, James.
Well, I was gonna say, you're an experienced DJ, and Russ and Joey's got a good surrounding of DJs, but I feel like a lot of younger DJs don't get it. They don't understand what you're saying as far as um, admitting mistakes, or maybe just not understanding set flow. What if they feel like they're transitioning correctly and it's seared into their heads that way. I feel like it takes somebody like an experienced DJ to give the proper criticism. So a lot of these younger DJs, I don't think, are always led in the right direction, and I think that's a problem. So I
Yeah.
think you
Or they're
guys,
encouraged for doing stuff that's horrible. Like you see them come into a night and play Tear Out at 9 o'clock, and people are like, "Yo, that was fire!" Like, no, that was
yeah,
that was
exactly.
That
way the
was
wrong
weird.
thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a thing that I mean, you guys all know it because you guys have all played gigs that are big enough that like where somebody's manager was like, "Yo, what's this dude do?" And I want to hear some shit before he's allowed to play in front of this artist for direct support or even anywhere at all. Like I remember when we opened for Bass Nectar when he played at the LC. I think it wasn't even called the LC at that point in time. Like everybody wanted that gig, and it kind of got tossed to us because right beforehand, like his tour manager was like, "Yo, I need somebody that's gonna play whatever, like send mixes in." And so they basically just pulled our mix out. And the dude's like, "Don't even try not to do what you sent us, because if you even for 1 second think this is the time for you to come out and get hard with it, we will yank your ass off the stage and we will cut your sound."
Wow.
Like you are expected to do what you told us you would do and what you sent us a mix of, and if you don't, we'll pull your card. But like Rusko did that, I think, at one point. Like we've definitely been heavy duty screened on some of the bigger shows that we got to play, where they were like, "Yo, if you send us a mix ahead of time and we'll decide whether we're going to approve you, but if you stray from the concept of that style of what you're doing, we'll just straight pull your card the second we think you're going too hard."
You gotta
Yeah.
love that an artist took like that amount like of time to say like, this is, I want good openers. Like to not say I'm gonna bring my own opener, but to
Yeah.
say like, you guys can have local openers, but we got to vet them. I think that's a really cool.
I'll
way
tell
to
you
do
what,
it.
like I'm not a dubstep dude, and it's not my thing. Like, and I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool. But like, it's definitely not my jam. But I'll tell you what, like, Bass Nectar as an artist, probably one of the most meticulous, like, setup, sound check. I mean, that dude's over there playing his keyboard with the sound guy, and he's going, "Take that frequency out, this one right here," and he's playing the note and like getting the sound guy to tune it out of the board because he doesn't like the way it feels on his chest when it hits like bass
Wow.
notes. He's
Wow.
like, "Tune this out because I don't like how it feels." So like this dude, like he did like a 4.5 hour sound check, dude, at the LC, and he's just
Wow.
playing notes, and he's like, "Take that out, make that louder, take this out, do that," and like sitting there watching him with Matt, and I was just like, this dude is meticulous. But the whole flow of that party was down to a T. Like everything was scripted down to the minute. Like who was playing, who wasn't playing. Was there background music playing? Was it quiet? Was there like he's standing at the edge of the stage ready to go on, but the lights are off. There's no music playing, and he's ready, but they're just making people wait. Like he's just building that hype. Like all of it was planned, like anticipation, sound, background music, artists, order. Everything was meticulously to his standards, and like you could tell it because that night just popped. It was wild. But And I'm not even one to be like, oh, Bass Nectar was like one of the coolest shows I've ever seen, but it really was that particular show. But you could see how much work you put in to make it perfect, and it was what it was. So
yeah, I can echo that, man. I'm not the biggest Bass Nectar fan, but you can definitely. He has a very passionate fan base. Like Bass Nectar fans are probably, I would say, top 5, top 10 as the like most loyal EDM
gosh.
DJ followers. You know, probably behind like an Excision or like, gosh, who else has those like the big following like that?
Trance, somebody in trance probably.
Yeah,
Armin?
Armin. People come out for
Armin for
Armin.
sure, 100% Armin. Carl Cox too.
Yeah, for sure.
Carl Cox,
Carl,
yeah.
He'll definitely go down in like EDM legend DJ status, even though he doesn't really do it for me. Besides the Lights remix of the Lights remix from Ellie Goulding, that I'll play all day. Let's see. I think that might be. Oh, James, I had a question for you actually. You know, since we had Kenobi on the show and you booked him at Dahlia when he was ready, you talked about a little bit about that earlier. How long does a DJ have to be spinning before they get it? Is there like a minimum amount of time someone should be DJing before you would book them to Dahlia? Like, let's say I'm a random guy, I walk in, I say, hey, check out my Instagram. I've been DJing for 8 months. Can I DJ at Dahlia? And he says he can bring 50 people. Like, what's your thought process with that? Do you think there's a set amount of time someone should be DJing before they really get it?
I think it varies because I think, you know, it depends on the amount of hours you put in, but also the amount of effort you're putting in within the industry that you're trying to get into as far as networking, supporting others. That's the first thing I learned is, you know, I didn't miss a gig that Matt Magic or DJ Duct Tape were playing at, you know, way back in the day. Whether it was a back room at Spice, main room, a little holiday party on a patio, like I was there and learning and, um, you know, trying to, you know, friend them, and they took care of me. And but I think, you know, having a good mix to give the resident DJs and the managers is a huge thing. You know, it doesn't have to be a big mix, but it needs to be the right mix. It needs to be maybe a 30-minute mix of what of the right stuff to play in there. There's so many pieces to it, though. You know, to get an opportunity, you have to be able to promote. You have to. Um, you might have to take a specific time slot at first to show that you can handle that first. I think that's the most important. I think Joey has done that, and Joey, you were just talking about Joey getting his opportunity. You know, he supported me for years, and then when he finally put in the time, I was able to give him that opportunity, and you know, he did not disappoint. And now I feel like he's ready for a direct support slot if I was to give him that, depending on who the artist is, and also depending on what the owners wanted for that show. I think that's another thing that people don't even think about. Like,
True.
they think about, you know, the people that book DJs aren't always the only ones in charge. And I think you just have to be there ready to please everyone. Crowd, the owners, and the DJs that are booking you. You need to uh, be able to. You still play your style. You still play your house music, but you have to just, you know, there are certain rules. There are certain, just ask. You know, ask questions. But I think anybody at any point in time can get a gig. I've seen DJs in Columbus with 1 year of experience get a full schedule of DJing, and that's just by doing things right all around.
Yeah,
true.
I
I agree with that.
Let's see, James, did you have any more questions for these guys?
Um,
Oh wait, Brian, I don't think
Brian, you got some
that.
sunlight on your face right there, man.
Dude,
know,
about to get that tan, get that other side of your face
sun-
tan.
Oh,
Right,
I know
Ooh.
it's the other side. My face is gone now in the camera image
Oh
because
wow,
the
dude!
sun
Look
is
at
like
that. It kind of
it's
looks
Dude.
sweet.
it's coming behind a tree and it's like
Looking
blasting
like
me right in the
Zeus.
face. So
But Brian, you chime in on that. Do you think is there a time period where you don't really take a DJ seriously? If they were to say, "Hey, I've been DJing for 5 months. I'm ready to play at Thump," do you kind of roll your eyes? Do you say, "Hey, maybe this is a
I feel
prodigy"?
like Thump is a great place for people to kind of break out whether they're gonna like how they fit in or where they shake down or those kinds of
Talk about
events.
Thump a little bit for if maybe someone's never heard of Thump.
All right, so Thump is a weekly that we did on Wednesdays before the apocalypse started, and it'd be like 30-minute time slots. And we get a lot of different DJs through there, so it'd be different vibes, different whatever, and kind of people just kind of do whatever they want, and they come in and they play however they want to play, and they do their thing. But it's a cool place where a lot of times people got a chance to break out and get seen, or they were like, hey, I want to play somewhere, and they would get the chance to come play a 30-minute set, and it might be terrible or it might be awesome. But I mean, I feel like a lot of DJs ability to play out was made in that party's hands, and it's been running for under different names for almost 10 years as far as I know.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Reed and MBFP for sure on that.
Absolutely.
So it's a wild place, but yeah, it's moved all over the city and it's done its thing. But I mean, it's been at Midway, it's been at Circus, it's been at whatever.
Circus
yeah.
was wild, man.
Yeah, and that it's been like a half a dozen places. It was at Bristol, it was all over the place. But I mean, it's been going forever and ever and ever, and it keeps popping back up. Like anytime somebody squishes it, it ends up back somewhere else. So
Yep.
So would you say that would be it? Instead of trying to get like a bigger gig their first time, to reach out to Nick Reed and MBFP
Yes.
if they want to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great place for people to come and show that they're capable of doing the right thing and they deserve that bigger gig. Because I mean, if you know all the stuff and you're ready and you think you're good to go, especially with him, because he's doing a lot of the other shows too. So if you come in there and you can impress him, then you're one hand up to something bigger.
MBFP is on the front lines of that in Columbus, and they always have been. And then there's groups like them around the regions that are doing the same thing. They have a promo team. They have a bucket of DJs that you can network with and get into those cities by supporting and taking those gigs that he's talking about.
And I remember meeting, for example, like where a modern case scenario of that whole situation. I remember playing at Thump, and Alex Fear was in the crowd at Thump, dancing to stuff like during sets people were playing or sets that I was playing as well. And I knew he knew well music that I was playing. I was like, this dude knows music. And then he and I had talked, and he was like, I'm a DJ. I was like, well, come play here. And he's like, okay. And it was like right when he had just come up from Athens. And so we connected him with Nick. I was like, hey, come next week and play or whatever. And we got him right on, and he played. And then he brought Zach, and those guys came around. And then the next thing you know, those dudes were hot fire and they were everywhere. And so they were ready to do the thing. They just they started getting the hand up, and then they boom, instantly were gone like fire. Just So it's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That was a
question for you guys. Let's say I'm a 2011, 2012 Hardwell EDM, like stadium EDM. That's all I produce. That's all I want to play. I'm in Columbus. I hear about this MBFP group. I go in there and they put me on a Thump, and my time slot's 9:30. Do you think I have a responsibility to open the room, or am I being booked as me that, what I do? I play bangers. If I play at 9:30, it's going to be the same thing I'm going to be playing, whether it's, 1:30 or 12:30, whatever it is. What do you guys think a DJ should do in that situation?
I mean, I would say play your time slot as best as you can. I mean, if you're playing at 9:30, I've played the time slot before multiple times. I mean, it's not the greatest, but I mean, it also gives you the opportunity to show people, especially like Nick Reed at MBFP, that if you can come in at 9:30 and open the room with the right kind of set and in the music, that you can be put at a later time slot, maybe on a bigger show somewhere else, and they know that you're going to come in and play the right type of set and not go balls deep in the music and go hardcore. You're gonna play what it is and bring that energy up from the beginning. That way, you don't start hard and then taper off.
Yeah, but what if I don't want to do that? What if like that's not in my bag? Like, there's some DJs that they play everything, up tempo, low tempo, whatever. And like, listen, I like Hardwell, I like Axwell, I like Sweet House Mafia. I want to play bangers. That's all I want to play. Do you still think they play their time slot, or is that doing something that's against their brand, against their style? Because BK, you are one of those who you're playing what you're going to play, right? It's not really much request. You're feeling the dance floor, you know how to build energy. But as far as like a request or playing to the crowd, I feel like that's not something that you do often.
No, I try to play to the night or the party, the vibe, and not necessarily the crowd. And there's some times like where I've just been in places where I didn't belong straight up. Like I remember I was at Thump one time, and I think like a bunch of sororities come in there or some crap, and I was playing, and like I was playing house music, and I remember looking at the crowd, and they were like, play this crap and you play this other crap, and I was like, I can't do this. Like it was not the room. And I remember texting Alex, and I was like, dude, I was like, come up here and take my shit from me right now. Like 10 minutes into my set, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I do not have the stuff that these people want to listen to. And I know that like you can wander the boundaries of dance music and open format and make it work, but like you can save this room, but I can't do it. You have to take this from me because there's nothing I can do here. This is not my night for me to be here. So I've been in that situation, and knowing that it was time to walk away rather than murder the bar and run everybody out was the look. So I feel like for me, if you're going to do something like we're going to come in and play bangers at the wrong time, a Thump is the place to do it. Like
that's so true.
No one's going to lose you a gig because of it. Like you can come in and do that, but I don't think it's going to do you any favors as a DJ, or it's not going to do you any favors as trying to do whatever. Because I feel like my opinion, and it may be wrong, but I mean, it's an opinion nonetheless, is that it is very easy to go into a room and play bangers. It's easy to go into a place and just tear it out because what's popular. I mean, you can literally download a list of whatever is popular. You go to a dubstep show, you can download the top 100 dubstep songs on Beatport and play any of those in probably any order you want at a dubstep show, and it's going to go off like bangers. But if it's not doing you any favors because you don't learn anything from that. Like you learn that if I play what's popular, people will like it, but you already know that because that's why it's popular. But like being able to control the vibe of a room, or send people to the bar, or bring people back to the dance floor, or keep a room moderately dancey so that the headliner can still pop that energy and there's a place to go up from where you're at. Like that's the stuff that really makes the truly skilled DJs, and that's what will earn you, I think, more gigs over time, or more valuable gigs over time, when that promoter knows that they can lean on you to do the right thing and not piss off the tour manager, or not piss off the owner of the bar, or not be like, oh, the energy was like so hot during your set, there was nowhere for the headliner to go up from. I think that's super important, and learning that stuff is hard, and practicing on a night like that it's a good thing. And if people see that you can do it, that's a skill that I think you can have. But then you got to be careful too, because sometimes it'll box you into that like early evening time slot. Like there's definitely been times where somebody has seen me play a set like in a weird after hour spot at like 2:30 in the morning, and they're like, yo, what the fuck was that? That was not a BK set. And I was like, no, it is. It's just a 2:30 in the morning after hour set. I'm like, but you don't see that all the time. So, whatever. You put me in the right spot in the right place, I'm going to do different stuff. So, like, if you want those sets, put me in those other time slots. But it's easy to get loopholed into hey, this dude will play house music at 9 o'clock and not fuck the room up. And then that's all you get. So you got to be real careful not to like end up on either extreme, because you can end up in the like I play bangers all the time, or like I'm a constant early 9 o'clock opener, and you gotta work this area.
Any tips, James, for someone who wants to play bangers but maybe hasn't earned their stripes? What can they do to get someone like you, or maybe in another city, to book them?
Well, I mean, you got to earn your stripes to get to play those. I mean, it is all about time slots and or production. You got to have similar production than what you're trying to play. That's popular enough for you to have your crowd show up so you can play that. So if it's not about time slots, it better be because you have the dance floor filled with your people that are wanting to hear what you're about to play, those bangers. So, um, I've thrown thousands of shows, I feel like at this point, and I know how the tour managers and artists react when they're sitting in the back rooms listening to openers if it's not me playing. And it can be good, it can be bad, but most of the time if as long as it's not too aggressive, you'll be okay. And I feel like if you want to play bangers, you got to earn that. Like you got to either earn your own headlining position, or it's got to be a big room type of DJ, like I don't know, Afrojack, Dada Life, whatever it is. Those guys come in, they're not going to yell at you for playing big room, probably. I mean, they're going to go up above that probably, and they're going to bring more energy in other ways as well, whether it's visuals, more volume, they're just energy in the DJ booth, whatever it might be. But it depends on the show. I think, like he said, if you want to play like that, it's not going to do you much good. But Thump, I've gone in there at 9 o'clock and listened to hardcore dubstep, and you know what? The set is good, but it's overwhelming to me. But you know what? That guy's playing his stuff, and good for him. But am I about to book him on the next show? Not unless I see that he can, play a proper slot set as well.
I agree.
Love it. Guys, where can people find you? Kenobi, we'll start with you. Social media handles, all that. And if you're watching on YouTube, this information will all be in the description.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as at DJ Kenobi, and also on Facebook as well.
How do you spell it?
KENOB3, and then have DJ in the front. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud as well.
BK, tell them about your TikTok.
My kids have that shit. But yeah, I'm on let's see, Instagram as BK DJ CBus, and that is also my Facebook page, because you can't use 2 letters to make any kind of cool thing. So having a DJ name with 2 letters in is a stupid idea. If you're new, don't do that.
And you don't have like an X in it either.
No, they don't like that.
I don't like it. Like Kenobi, right? He was telling people DJ Kenobi, so they would have typed in KENOBI, but because I have suffered that X for 12 years, I know how do you spell it.
Right. Yep. That's the thing. And then SoundCloud, it's on there the same. I got a podcast on Apple Music as well. That's under BK. Find it on there. SoundCloud, there's that. There's Mixcloud is BK. SoundCloud is BK. I think that pretty much covers it.
And if you both could tell the listener, hey, if you wanted the best representation of what I play, what I do, which mix should they listen to, which Jedi Mind Tricks, and then BK, which network EDM mix should they go to? Because I know which one I'm sending them to.
Oh man, that's a question. I've been feeling. Let me look at my SoundCloud here. You go ahead if you know what.
No, I don't know which one I'm going to look to.
I'm looking right now.
I mean, it also depends. I guess what you're feeling, I suppose.
Dude, I really liked your last mix that you just put out, Joey. Which one's that?
That was 18 House of Quarantine, but there's mistakes in that one, so don't really listen to that one. I would say if the best representation of what I'll play is either my Volume 14 Road to E Forest or the Volume 10 Holy Ship set are the two representations of the best two mixes of what I will normally play if you see me at a show or anything like that.
BK.
So the Walker and Royce direct support set from Scully's was like probably one of the most popular sets I think I've ever had on my SoundCloud. And it's like,
dude, that was
on
a
SoundCloud?
great set. By the
yeah,
way.
it's pushing up almost 4,000 listens over the course of time. So that's like, it's definitely one of my favorites.
I was there, man. I know how important that was to you, man. That was a
Yeah,
you've been training with those guys
awesome.
forever.
That was after Breakaway a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, I think so. That one was, yeah. It was that was a big set for me. And then I'll tell you what, the one that's underrated that I think is worth a listen is the live at Night Vision 12/21/19, which is when I went up to Cleveland and played with my buddies up there that do that Night Vision party. And I played like breaks and I tapped in. It was right when I recovered a hard drive that had failed on one of my MacBooks that was like from back in the day. So I did kind of a weird blend of new and old and house and breaks and kind of went all over the place from old to new and like really put influence in the set. And like I really enjoyed that set. Like I listened to it myself in the car sometimes because it was just
I
like
listen to all my mixes.
it was a bunch of stuff that I brought back that it was like throwback stuff for me mixed with like newer stuff that I thought was like really fire. And that set, like nobody gave a shit about it when I put it on Facebook because I think it was just like a bad timing. It was like around Christmas. There was so much other shit. And I didn't like go back and rehype it. And so there's like, it's got like 35 plays, but it's still one of my favorite sets. So
awesome, man. My favorite of yours is the Network EDM Service Pack 1. That was when I realized that like, okay, I didn't understand, like, because I always knew you were a good DJ, but then after listening to that mix, you and Matt together putting that was when I realized, oh, I have a lot more to learn about this like electronic stuff, and these guys really get it.
Playing with Matt, I think, was really like what, like it set my entire style for how I played, because having some, like, we would just show up at those gigs with keys of songs on stuff, and I didn't know what he had and he didn't know what I had, and we weren't practicing. Like we would just get there and play. And it was like every mix was basically picking up from the DJ before you over and over and over again. So I learned to build a vibe from him. But then he and I had such a chemistry in a way that we could flow and find songs. Like we knew how to manipulate each other. Like I knew that if I wanted Matt to play this particular song, I could do it by playing this song, and I would get Matt to play that song. And he could do the same thing to me. And it'd be like, we could play each other like a hand of cards. Like it was just like, okay, well, if I want Matt to play this song, so I don't have to, I can do it by playing these and he'll play this, and it would work, and he could do the same thing to me. So that was like, it was just a thing that worked, and we can put it down and pick it up whenever. So I don't know, maybe sometime there'll be a Project Car / Network EDM set, this pop back out for some random stuff, because it every once in a while happens. And so
I just had a memory of when you guys played Trans Tuesday, and it was like the first show after you guys switched names, and I was like, "Yo, everybody, make it up for make some noise for Car Project," and you were like, "It's Project Car." Dude, stuff like that haunts me. Like shit I've said on the mic that has been wrong haunts me to this day. So,
don't, because you can at least get on the mic. I can't get on the mic, dude. Like you put a mic in my face and I'm like, throw it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, dude, I'm not one for the mic either. I don't really like to hear myself talk anyway, so I don't think me getting on a mic in front of people is even better. So
Matt was never one for mics either, or when other people would get on the mic during a set. One memory that I'll never forget was we were playing at Scully's, and I don't even remember what show it was, but it was back when Johnny Flavor was always trying to MC or whatever. And he come up on stage, and we were playing, and like it was like right at the end of a breakdown. It was about to go into the drop on this track, and he turns the mic on and he starts yelling, and Matt just reaches over and slaps the mic off.
Yep.
And like turns and gives him the look, and he flips it back on and tries to talk, and Matt turns it off and unplugs the microphone and throws the cord across the stage and just goes back to mixing. And it was everything I could do not to laugh myself to death, but just watching that happen. And he was like, "Yo, what the hell?" And I was like, "Dude, don't talk on our sets, like unless you tell us whatever, and don't do it over a drop, bro. Like what are you doing?"
You're clearly not qualified to do this job at this point.
It was a classic moment that I'll never forget, because I like Matt is very rarely like fired up like that in the booth, but he was just like, "No."
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Corrupt, you're streaming in a half hour. Where can people find you? Is that on AG? Is that on Twitch? What's going on?
Yeah, it's my buddy Stevie D. Shout out to Stevie D. He's going to be on this show next week, and he invited me on this live stream. A bunch of DJs are starting right now. It's going to be on my Twitch, which is Corrupt Music, and it's also, I think I'm going to find a way to get it on Facebook, so you can just pop right back onto my personal page or the Corrupt fan page, and it'll be on there. So that'll be at 9:30, and it's just a quick set. I'm playing like all my old remixes and some of my new EP. So it's a mashup of like future house and bass house. It'll be fun.
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
If you're watching on YouTube, please like the video. Tell us who we should have on the podcast. If you're hating what we do, let us know so we can fix it. If you like what we do, donate to 4Ocean in behalf of Kenobi. And yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. We went a little bit over, so thank you for sticking around with us. Corrupt, take us out, buddy.
All I gotta say is house music is strong in Columbus.
Yeah,
that is
And
true.
it'll always be strong.
the force is strong, and so is house music.
Thank
That's
you guys so
100%
much,
true.
man. It's always
Thank
fun.
you guys
guys.
for doing this. It's cool. It's definitely
Yeah.
a cool thing, and it's cool that somebody stepped up to the plate and did something like this, because
Absolutely, man.
this is the perfect time to launch it too. So I've been listening to it, and I like it. So keep it going.
Thank you, BK. Appreciate that.
Definitely
You
have to
too,
do that.
guys. It's awesome. Thank
Peace
you
out,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Y'all have a good weekend.
You too.
You too.